line of having to open up and deal with people on a regular basis. Other than that, all we can do is continue to practice the social distancing and certain things of that order. But that's what I do. I just ensure that the businesses and that the civilians were able to get access to PPE and different equipment like that, and also the education, because some of it, not everybody is properly educated on COVID, on the effects, on the transmission rates, on how you can and can't catch it. So a lot of it also has to deal with community education, and I think the city could do some things with making sure that they have better ways of accessing the public, and making sure that every citizen is getting that information that they need, because some of that information is crucial and it can save lives. And because of the digital divide that we have, some of our senior citizens and or our special needs folks don't get that information.
Right.
And that can be damaging, especially because they're some of the most vulnerable population in catching it.
Absolutely. Now, we got Pharaoh Clark here. He's running for city council for District 2. And for those of you that just joined us on Facebook Live, I apologize for that. That was my bad. But so, Pharaoh, we just got the folks on air were listening, but folks on Facebook Live just joined us. So can you tell us once again, I hate to have you repeat yourself, but just for them, could you tell us your top priorities?
Okay, I went over. One is the small business development, entrepreneurship development, and just rebuilding the businesses that are going to be in the district so that we can improve jobs, create jobs, and that we can take over our own financial well-being.
Awesome. And tell us once again for the folks out there in Facebook land about the new program that you and the city have put together. It's going to start in January.
It's an entrepreneurship program, and this year will be the first year, so it's a pilot. And they're going to take, I believe it's 10 African Americans and 10 Latinos, and they're going to put them through a financial wellness course, through a business development course, and different things of that nature, by which the end of it, you'll receive a grant that will go towards helping you start your own business. And I believe it gets even more detailed if they complete the program. If they go through it, you'll also get other levels of assistance throughout the program. So to help ensure the success of your business.
That is so awesome. And thank you so much for doing that. So you mentioned here a minute ago when we were talking about the COVID and about information dissemination, you were talking about the digital divide.
Yes.
The digital divide, has, I remember when they did the 2005 Communications Act that allowed cable TV and phone companies and all to do whatever they wanted to do. And they've all told us back in 2005 that the first place they were going to put attention and facilities and all that stuff, infrastructure, was going to be the poorer neighborhoods, the disadvantaged neighborhoods, and everything else. Well, they lied, okay? Because that was 15 years ago, and 25% of people on the east side still don't have access to the internet, and it's so important, as you just talked about. So how do you plan on attacking that?
I think that's important because that's an issue that can definitely be attacked and addressed by the city. What I would say is that we should provide in our senior citizen centers as well as our community centers. We should provide access to training for senior citizens that want to come and they want to learn how to get more in tune with the modern world. Get on Facebook, get on Instagram, because these different things, they give you access to resources.
Right.
So I think that it's important, and we would definitely work hard to make sure that these different community centers, these different senior citizen centers that we already have in play, started becoming hubs for the community, not only for our senior citizens to help with things like bridging the digital divide. We've been working with companies that may be able to even provide, some Wi-Fi and services to our citizens that maybe don't make enough to provide it for themselves. There's ways we can work and through partnerships to make sure that they still have access. Because when you look at resources and you look at the time that we're in, a lot of the resources can be found online.
Right.
So if you don't have that technology savvy or the know-how, then that puts you at a disadvantage.
Yes, it does.
And so we have our already disadvantaged citizens becoming even more disadvantaged as time goes by because of that divide. So I think it's something that as a community we have to address, because it's gonna really affect the quality of life.
Wow, thank you for that. So now you've been a community activist for a long time. How many years have you been a community activist?
I since at least 2014. I was doing it before that, but 2014 is where I really started.
Okay. And then tell me some of the more memorable things that you're most proud of. In that role.
Let's see. I was monumental in helping to get the removal of the Travis Park, the Confederate statue from Travis Park. We also helped with the removal of the statue in Columbus Park. We were the group that was monumental for putting an end to no-knock warrants here in San Antonio.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, most definitely. They're dangerous, not only to the community, but also to the police
to the police officers
who have to go enforce it.
Absolutely.
We put an end to chokeholds. We got the sheriff's department to create a mental health division that's gonna, manage and help their mental health.
The civil rights division.
We got a civil rights division. That's actually separately. The civil rights division is for the DA's office, and that's the first one ever in Bexar County history.
That's right.
We got money released for COVID. We also got racism declared a pandemic here in San Antonio. We were a part of helping Juneteenth be declared a holiday. I mean, we've done a lot of work. It's been a lot of work.
Well,
and we got the case reopened for the Marquise Jones shooting.
Awesome. That is quite a resume. That is quite a resume. Why do you think so many people are running for office?
I truly just think that we're at a time where COVID's opened our eyes to a lot of, damage that's in our community, and it's woke a lot of people up to wanting to do something to change. I know, at least for me, being on the streets, we were there for 100 and something days straight, and the marches for justice, and seeing some of the things we saw, coming in encounter with a lot of the people that we did. I think it kind of just woke a lot of people up and said that the time for change is now. And if there's going to be a change, then I have to stop looking out for someone else to change it. I have to come in and be a part of that change. So I think that's what was doing it.
No, thank you. So now, the one thing that some people are talking about is that, so many people running is going to create a lot of division in a district that needs unity. What is your answer to that?
I think that that's possible if you run politics as usual, because politics as usual gets dirty. There's the mudslinging. It gets real dirty business. I believe that if we run from a standpoint of looking at each other not as enemies, we're all running to create a better future for D2. We all may have different visions. However, if our goal in our heart is truly in helping the community, then we're not running against each other. We're running for our vision of D2. If we run it like that, then we're not going to have the division that's created in most of these campaigns. We're going to bring the unity back to the community. We can't allow campaign and our ideologies and our beliefs to make us turn ourselves into enemies. As a people, we tend to be our own worst enemies. And we have to stop that. We have to put an end to that. So I don't intend on running against anybody. I intend on running for my vision of D2, my vision of a better D2, and improving the unity in our community.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got Pharaoh Clark here, D2, District 2, City Council candidate. And what you just heard, he did not rehearse because I just called him about an hour before he came on the show, so he could not have that was really well done. So no negative campaigning.
No negative campaigning.
Wow. Now that's a challenge to all the rest of y'all out there, because people like to start getting in the dirt and talking about people's dogs and cats and whatever color they painted their house or whatever. And so you heard it right here from Pharaoh Clark, our first guest of the D2 candidates, about running a not a typical political campaign. He's running for his vision, not running against anybody else. That is awesome. Well, I know your time is really busy and everything, so I guess what I want to do is give you like a minute where you can tell people now, because I asked you why you wanted to run, and you've answered questions great today, and so you got 1 minute. Tell the audience why they should vote for Pharaoh Clark.
I ask for your support in my nomination for District 2 because I believe that I'm the candidate that has proven that I'm going to get things done. I have a track record of proving that I'm going to get things done. I have a track record of not only standing up to the established society and pushing for rights for our community, but also being reasonable enough to come to the table and have those discussions in a manner in which was positive for our community. So I believe if you look at my track record of positive things I've done for the community, then you'll see if we've done this much work in 6 months on the ground, imagine what I can do in that seat representing you.
Very well done. Very well said. Ladies and gentlemen, Facebook fans out there, this is Dr. Doug Show, KORV FM, on a special Monday show. We're interviewing Pharaoh Clark, District 2 City Council person, candidate, and he's the first one to come on the show. And I just met Pharaoh for the first time today. I'm really, really impressed, and I wish you the best, man. I really do. You're a person with a big heart, person that knows what he wants to do out as far as being a leader, and I applaud you for that because that's half the battle right there. So thanks so much for coming on the Dr. Doug Show. And anytime you got something to say, come on back. I got a spot for you.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
Mama Joe, you were awful quiet over there. Tell us what you do.
What I do?
Tell us your role in helping Pharaoh become District 2 City Council person.
My role, he actually did very, very, very well. The reason that I support Pharaoh, when we first met, we were definitely not friends. It was televised. But he has proven to me that he is reliable, and that is something that we don't see in a lot of people today.
Mm-hmm.
I also appreciate his ability to put people before procedure and policy, which we also do not see in politics
Not
today.
anymore.
Exactly. We do not see that in politics. So to know factually that we can possibly, if D2 votes, I won't necessarily say votes correctly, but if they vote in favor of this, they are not only voting for someone who puts them first, but they are voting for someone who is not going into politics to be a politician. There is a difference between going into politics to be powerful, and there is a difference between going into politics to continue to be impactful. And I appreciate this individual for not only being a reliable man of his word, as reliable revolutionaries, but also being a man who sees the future and not necessarily sees the future as a psychic, but sees the future that D2 can be when we say D2 strong.
Absolutely.
So when we say D2 strong and we picture what D2 is now, we're strong because we have to be.
Right.
Not because we just, are out here walking around like, yes, I can take bullets. We've been conditioned to live in the conditions that we are in.
Right.
And I appreciate his vision for D2 being strong because we can be, because of what we've been through, but not because we're still going through it.
Right.
I appreciate that he wants to see change for us, a positive change for us,
right,
and he's not going into it to play a game.
Right.
When you go into things and you play a game, someone has to lose, and it's always us.
That's right.
It is always D2. It is always African Americans or people of color.
Right.
It is always the people who lose when government chooses to play games.
Right.
So it's time for us as the people to put people in politics that are not playing games when it comes to our livelihood. So I appreciate the fact that we have people wanting to run for D2 this year, more people stepping up saying, instead of saying we need somebody to fight for us, people are waking up and saying, I am somebody. Absolutely. I am somebody. And I appreciate the fact that Pharaoh woke up and said, I am somebody, but I don't want to be the only body. So what he did was he got a team. And that's us. I am proud to be a part of that team. He got a team that says, we will stay on the ground. If you go into politics, we will stay on the ground and continue to help our community. But we need you to go in and start making some changes up there. Be impactful up there. We will be impactful down here.
Amen.
And
no
my
one
job
can
is to
speak
help
better
him do
than
that.
Mama Joe. That's why you got to keep her
Mama
around.
Joe.
My job is to help him do that.
Campaign manager.
You promoted me.
Activist. She does it all. She's got about 3 or 4 hats on. Thank you both, Pharaoh. Thank you both. I wish you most luck and most success. Joe, I'm sure he's in good hands. From I can tell. This is Dr. Doug here, KROV FM, the heart and soul of San Antonio. Facebook family, thanks so much for listening and putting up with our technical difficulties. We'll be back on Saturday. KROV FM, the heart and soul of San Antonio. We'll be right back.
All right, everybody want to give a thumbs up in the air or peace? You ready, Doug? You ready, Doug? All right.
That was excellent.
Well, that did go.